Hello everyone, how you doing? Is all right. Welcome to NFTV on a night where England have cruelly lost the tournament on a penalty shootout. Heartache for a lot of people up and down the country. Apologies about my voice. Obviously, that's just because of the shouting with the game. So I've got a bit of water with me. Just me tonight. I totally respect the lads' decision. Some of them can't face coming on video, which is fair enough. Some of them love England probably more than what I do, which is fair enough. I know I've already seen some of your comments. Somebody's a little bit devastated tonight. So I'll try my best to go through the game with you, break it down as best what I can remember. I probably need a bit of help with it, but yeah, it's a cruel way to lose not just a game. You lose the tournament, don't you? Effectively, or if you're on the other side, you win the tournament, of course. But I'll also be scoring the players as well. So if you want to join in with me, feel free to on a night where it is disappointing. However, before we get into the game, though, I've got to say that a lot of thugs, a lot of cowards in London tonight, absolutely disgraceful behaviour by a lot of thugs who are absolutely high on drugs or alcohol or whatever. I think I've got Carl in the background as well. Carl might be joining me as well. Hello, mate. You all right?
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, as well as can be.
Yeah, well, now there's two of us, so two of us have man up to try and talk to use a lot at home. Thanks, Carl, for doing it. And that's difficult. But I was just saying there, the thuggery, Carl, outside the stadium, people bursting their way through, the violence fighting, the litter, the bottles, the missiles getting thrown in Leicester Square, disgraceful, innit?
I've said this. Like, I got bashed a little bit by it from my mates before. Like, just as I think it was after the first game. Like, I wasn't being as patriotic as they were, and I've said to yourselves, it took me until like the semi-final to really get into it. And part of it is that, man, I'm sick of all this shit. Like, I'm a bit like you at times. Like, I get that people are proud to be English and stuff, but I'm not proud to be tarred with people that are doing that. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. It's disgusting. Like, and it's no wonder that people, outside of England hate us, like, because we act like that.
Yeah, if anybody who hasn't seen it, you can't miss it. You go onto Twitter, you just need to type in England fans, and hopefully there's no. In all honesty, though, I expect it tonight that there will be more violence, more.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Maybe some businesses might have shop windows smashed up. I don't know. I'm expecting England fans to kick off tonight, but yeah, that's not going to look good with UEFA. They're going to get a massive fine, the FA, so that doesn't help things, and that's before England kick off. A good few hours as people piss as farts. Nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah, you've got people saying that there's pub owners around London, mate, saying they're having people in at 10 o'clock. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect? And a lot of people were saying that we don't deserve to win it because how certain fans have acted, and it's shit, isn't it? It's shit because that's what's going to be spoken about. A lot of that, and then we've not been able to reconcile that with a win and just turn around and say that that was a minority, because I agree. I think a hell of a lot of people tonight will be getting involved with all sorts of bother. And unfortunately, I said, someone's going to get hurt tonight because of someone's stupidity.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to be all over the news tomorrow. Obviously, the football, of course, but it'll be matched with, from what it looks like, idiotic hooliganism, to be honest with you. And it's going to put us in a bad brush, basically. Not all England fans are, unfortunately. There's kids that are down there who are probably seeing the first, well, there will be a lot of people tonight. 99% of that stadium is seeing the first final tonight, because not many of them go back to 66. But yeah, I can see why England and the rest of Europe don't like England, because the fans are absolutely disgraceful. Look, I know a lot of you are quite upset in the comments. I'm not... how can I word it? I am disappointed, but I'm not devastated. And I think I've explained this before as well, Carl. I explained this last game as well. I said in the WhatsApp group before, I was more upset when Newcastle lost the cup finals year after year. That hurt me more than what it did tonight. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, well, you shouldn't feel hurt, because, Christ, a lot of people who are a lot more dedicated England fans than what I am, because I'm not a dedicated England fan. I'll watch England, but there's no love there, if that makes sense, Carl.
Yeah.
I tend to find it, and there are pockets around the north that people love England. I tend to find personally, it's more down. It's a south thing that they love England more. I might be totally wrong on that, but that's just generally how I feel. I feel more proud to be Geordie than I am English. But look, there's a lot of people who are hurting more than me. Are you on that level where you are devastated with England, or can you get over it?
I will get over it, but it's like previously I was like diehard England fan, not necessarily because just nationalistic pride. Like I think it's more the people that I've grown up with, if that makes sense. Like a lot of them are really like diehard. Some of the Villa lads like really diehard England fans, so it's hard to not get caught up with that. But like I said to you, Matt, like this tournament, I haven't been like that. I've not allowed myself to get like that until we beat Germany, and then you go and beat Ukraine, and then you start thinking, and you get involved with it again, and then tonight, I'm right in it emotionally. Like people like Johnny and that said in the comments are absolutely good, and I'm the same. Like I'm absolutely heartbroken, but I would feel worse with Newcastle Cup finals 100%. It's just I will get over it, but yeah, I would. I was on the verge of tears. I was getting there. I've had a little bit of a cry that we've lost tonight. It's I feel like it's karma, as bad as that sounds. I really do.
It's a horrible way to lose. Not just a game, you've lost the tournament.
Yeah.
On penalties. But like I say, and I don't mean this to be any disrespectful to any England fans, I'll get over it tomorrow. I am disappointed tonight, but Newcastle.
Yeah, I get that.
Newcastle to me, die-hard love. I get upset with Newcastle. I don't get upset with England. And maybe that's just because I see myself as Geordie first. I don't know. I can't really explain it. But we'll get into the game. We'll try and dissect it as well. Jay's at a party over in the States as well. 2 English lads. I bet they're devastated as well. We'll try and dissect it. The lineup, first of all. Initial thoughts? Are you surprised?
Yeah, I didn't want to sit 5 at the back, but I thought I know they've got decent attacking wingers, but I just thought that we should have gone out on the front foot again. I didn't want to sit back and absorb pressure, and it's brilliant we've gone and got the first goal, and I won't go into it straight away, but I wasn't happy with 5 at the back. We've seen it time and time again at Newcastle, and it's not worked. So as soon as I see that, I automatically worry.
Yeah, you can see the England lineup over on the right-hand side. Sorry, I said Saka, I meant Trippier. So Trippier came in. He was the one change over on the right-hand side, as you can see here. We'll go through a couple of comments a little bit later. But 5 at the back, like I said, I think everybody was optimistic for Southgate. I think a lot of people kind of like warmed to him during the Euros in the lineup. I wasn't too disappointed because they were going to be the bigger test. They were going to be the hardest game that England faced this tournament. But like I say, Carl, we got off to an absolute flyer. And you've seen me in the WhatsApp, attack Emerson, attack Emerson, attack Emerson. Yeah. And we did on the right-hand side for the first 10 to 15 minutes. And that's where the goal came from. It's a great cross. Obviously, Kyle Walker, credit him for the overlap. And then Trippier whips it in. Luke Shaw, of all people, what a finish that is, though. Great finish.
It was excellent, mate. It's so calm. The technique was brilliant. The way he's not only got his laces over it, but the way that he's been able to control the ball without slicing across it was just an excellent finish. Excellent finish.
Yeah, fantastic. And when I've got you on the left-hand side. When that goal went in, from there, I'm playing around here. I need to remove that. When that goal went in, obviously the scenes, because it was in the first 4 minutes. You think, get in, we're off to a fucking brilliant start, calm the nerves down. We tacked again on that right-hand side. We're thinking, right, okay, if we could get another goal, it'll be literally game over. However, as the game went on towards the end of that first half, Italy were then coming in with, they were hovering around just outside our box. They were going left to right, having a lot of possession. And for me, I said it's a matter of time before, I know the broke were down in the second half, but it was a matter of time if England don't get in that dressing room 1-0 up and try and get in 1-0 up and come out in a different mentality. Southgate kicked them at the arses, but it didn't. We got it at half time, and it was the same old again in a second half. Chiesa, a massive threat.
Yeah. My dad was saying exactly the same thing. We had quite a few round, and he was like not being negative, but he was saying, it's not a matter of it's not a case of if Italy score. It's when they score. It's what we do after when they score. And I thought, I don't know, but he's right, and I think, like you said, that Italy goal looked like it was always coming at some point, and we could never write a team like Italy off anyway. But I 100% agree. It was just, I don't know what it was tonight as well. Harry Kane, like he did in the first two games, was just sitting unbelievably deep, and them not allowing us to be able to press on. We had no outlet, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on? And everything just seems to go out the window. I don't know whether it all boiled down to pressure or Southgate's got his personnel choices wrong. I don't know. But it was just stalemate in that second half.
Yeah, so Harry's joined us as well. He's trying to perk himself up. Johnny and Josh are not joining us. They're a little bit upset, which is fair enough. It's respectable. A lot of people are devastated tonight. Harry, we're just talking really about how we went in the lead. We went at half time, and it was a case of just get at half time 1-0 up. We'll come out second half. We'll be a different team, but we weren't.
Yeah, no. To be honest, I just agree with that. It's really deflating. That whole result, just gutting. But we restarted well. Really did start well. But the Italians were relentless in their pressing. They were really, really good on the press. And it was definitely a case of getting into half time and just seeing where we're at. But in the second half, there was just no response. There was just no response. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. It was really a shambles in the second half. And it definitely was a case of waiting until extra time and see what we've got then, see what subs we can make, see what changes tactically we can maybe do. But it was just like you didn't see any difference. It just seemed to be the same, and see if we can make something of it. But it was a bit of a shambles. But it's really deflating, to be honest.
And it was common call, wasn't it, that Bonucci goal? Obviously, just before that, Pickford made a great save to credit him. And to be honest, Pickford is possibly maybe a contender for man of the match tonight. He did nothing wrong in the shootout. He saved it. But we'll come to the shootout in a second. But Bonucci goal, obviously, it's a great save by Pickford again. And it looks like it's Maguire's man, but Bonucci was already in the move. And he tapped it home. But do you know what? They deserve to equalise.
Yeah, I think it was John Stones' man, but I think Mason Mount was caught sleeping as well. They 100% deserve it. Like they were gradually coming into the game, and we just didn't do enough to stop that momentum that they had. Unfortunately, you thought, like you said, you'd have. I thought that we might come out after half time, and maybe try and nick an early goal like we did against Ukraine. It's just this sitting back bullshit, this defensive mentality that it doesn't work ever. It doesn't work ever. In the big games and the games that matter, where you need to go out and win, sitting back and absorbing pressure doesn't win games. It doesn't. Yeah,
I do agree actually with what Barbara just said. They're the best team in the tournament won. I agree on that. And overall, during the tournament, yes, they had a bad game against Austria, but overall, I think that's a fair comment. Kelsey's gone on to say Southgate sadly hasn't learned from the Croatia defeat 3 years back. Inevitably, always going to concede sitting back. Italians sitting on yellow cards, don't target them. I said that in the WhatsApp, didn't I? I said you've got a 36-year-old and a 37-year-old, both on yellow cards in extra time. You've pulled down Saka. People are saying it's a red card. I think it's too far away from goal. I think you've also got Bonucci alongside him. But there was Harry Kane. You said, Carl, he was dropping too deep. But it was hard.
Once he's on a yellow card, just get Harry Kane on him. Put in, when we got set pieces, put Maguire on him. Put someone that's going to give him a bit of trouble and force him into getting another booking. It was fucking nothing.
It was kind of like towards the end of the second half, Harry, that we accepted half time because if you look at the substitutions, there was hardly any made.
Yeah. I think there was only 2 before full time. I was screaming, well, not screaming, but I was urging for more subs to be made. It was ridiculous, and at the same time, you got to think, you got to back him because he's got us this far. But it's saving subs till penalties is it's so frustrating because you think you just got to do it sooner. You've just got to do it sooner, regardless of what happens, because there's fresh legs needed out there. And if you do it soon, you can win the game. But he doesn't. which it's so frustrating. But who are we to say that? But like, it is really, really frustrating because I think England could have won that although maybe didn't deserve to. We could have won that if the cards were played right.
Speaking of cards, was that Jorginho tackle call a red card?
I did think it was, to be fair, just because he's gone over the top of the ball. I don't think it was like, he's not going to have injured him. Not like it's not a leg break or anything like that. But that's only because of where it was. He's ended up hitting him on the inside of his thigh. It was a bad tackle. It was a bad tackle. I do think they're lucky to not get given a red card there.
Yeah. So I was speaking about, we're in extra time now, and we did perk up for a period of about 10 minutes. But again, the substitutions, Harry, you've talked about them, and they came late in the extra time, very late.
Yeah. No, it was too little, too late. It was just lackluster, wasn't it? It was, it was like, as you say, we did perk up a little bit, but it wasn't a lot. It really just wasn't enough. Like, I cannot think of what we created in that extra time period. There really just wasn't a lot. And so, as I was just seeing a comment before saying it was quite ironic that the two subs brought on both missed penalties.
Yeah, they're not in the game long enough,
and that's all they were brought on for. So yeah, it's just very frustrating night, to be honest.
Yeah, they're just mentally not prepared. There's a question that's come in. Thank you very much, Bravo, for your donation. Which was worse, losing the semi-final World Cup or this one? Probably this one, because you're basing your penalty shootout on the tournament, basically, I would say. Harry seems to be agreeing with me, signing there. Carl, you froze?
Sorry, have I froze?
Looks like you froze, mate.
I think you have, yeah.
Someone take a screenshot. You look sophisticated. Oh, you're back. Right.
I think. I'll check my WhatsApp messages. Sorry, I got people like going off in other WhatsApp groups saying not to crucify Southgate, blah blah blah, and everyone else calling him a bottle job. So,
no, we'll come on to him in a minute. It just hurt more than the World Cup.
Yeah,
it's a tournament. Yeah. You've lost the tournament on one kick.
It was because we're so much closer. It hurt a lot more. I think, and it hurt a lot more because, like someone said in the comments, I just feel like he didn't learn from the Croatia game.
And then the subs came late in the extra time. We went to penalties. We're all thinking, oh, fucking hell, here we're gone. Another penalty shootout. But Italy have lost the World Cup in '94 when Baggio ballooned it over the bar. And then they've won it in 2006 with in the Zidane headbutt at Materazzi. So they've got mixed emotions with penalty shootout themselves. And obviously, this is the first time we've lost one in the final. But what do you make of the penalties, Harry? Because Pickford saved the first one. How are they? We're going to get in front of you.
That, to be honest, that's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. And to be honest, as people, I know people criticise me for rating Pickford so low last video. He was exceptional in the game and the penalty shootout. He was really good. But
I would agree on that.
It's really sad that England can only score 2 penalties from 5. That's the shambles from the shootout.
I was saying Donnarumma's a bit of an expert in the WhatsApp beforehand as well. I dreaded it when it goes to penalties. I know, not Rashford. Andrew, I know I've seen your comment. We're not having any reaction show tonight because it's negative, but we are going to score the players shortly. But if we had won, we would have had a celebration party, but that's gone down the pan. We would have had everybody on. But the penalties, the Rashford one, when he's just what he's doing, Carl, he's just looking straight at the goalkeeper. And I know some players do it. Jorginho doesn't. He had his saved as well by Pickford. Just a technique I don't like.
Absolutely. One of the lads that was sat next to me was literally talking me through, because he was a Man United fan, talking me through what he does, like step for step, so he knew what was coming. But yeah, I hate it. Like, I hate it. Like, I know it each to their own, but for me, it's just old fashioned Alan Shearer. Pick where you go and don't change your spine. Just fucking bury it.
Like Maguire
Bury
did.
it. Yeah, like Maguire, because it just gives you too much time, and the keeper too much time to think about what you're doing. And I feel like the longer that you take to get to the ball, like, you open up to the keeper, like, where your body shape's going, if that makes sense. So,
yeah. And I was actually surprised Maguire stepped up, to be fair.
yeah, fair play to him.
So I was a bit surprised by that. But obviously, as we say, Bravo, we'll come to your comment in a sec. Pickford did everything that he could possibly do. And I was like, Howard, then all is forgiven if Pickford becomes the hero. And he's not the hero. What's the right word? He's done everything that he could possibly do in that penalty shootout for England to win that tournament. I'm saying that as a Geordie.
Yeah. Had the lads have scored, we would have been lauded, a Mackham as the hero.
Yeah, if the lads put the penalties away, we would have said, Pickford, you've won this tournament tonight.
Yeah.
And he's done his job. He saved a couple of penalties. So it's a crying shame. It's a horrible way to. It's never nice losing the game, but when the tournament hinges on it as well, it's a flip of a coin. It is, and you've got to be brave enough to step up. So you've got to applaud the players who do. A couple of penalties, not the greatest. Bravos went to say making this final is a lot better than losing the World Cup. And obviously, after the game, I don't know if you heard any of the commentary, but the lads were saying in the commentary, Shearer, that this team will grow. It can only get better. The World Cup's only 18 months away because it's the dodgy time. I don't care about that. You care about now. What's just happened? It's
not just that. Then you got people like fucking Brazil and Argentina to come up against. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're struggling to beat people like Scotland and. No disrespect to Denmark, but it's great that we beat them. But you're struggling past Denmark. You think we're going to go and beat teams like Argentina and fucking France and Brazil in that cup? We're not. And I appreciate what people are saying. We've got an excellent squad, but it's still too young, and there's no way that we beat teams like that. There's no way. This was the opportunity to win something, and we fucked it.
Agree. This was now or never, wasn't it? It was literally. I know the team's young. And it can grow and whatever, but Harry, do you think the Euros is harder to win than the World Cup?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think the World Cup's easier to win. I say that because you've got better teams in Europe. Yes, I know you add Argentina and Brazil to it, but there's a lot of mediocre teams that qualify from North America. Africa, no disrespect, Asia as well, South, and obviously you've got Australia who qualify. I think they're a notch down on the Euros. But Harry, I'll come to you. We'll try and flip it into positive. If I said to you a month ago that England would get the final, you would bite your hand off.
Yeah. No, because I remember when we were at was it Motel 5? Was it
Motel 1?
I said we'd get to Motel 1, sorry. I said we'd get to semi-finals at best. So I'm delighted with that. Overall, I'm delighted, but it's just that feeling of despair, losing the final. You'll obviously know exactly what it feels like. But yeah, overall, it's been a great performance in the tournament. It's just really sad that we couldn't win it, having got to the final.
Yeah, thank you very much for your donation, Diane. I feel bad for taunting you now. You've got a semi-final and a final consecutively, so maybe next time England will a lot better than what I expected. We also got the semi-final of the Nations League as well, so 3 on the bounce, if you want to call it that, in a final. But sadly, England couldn't go the extra mile, so thank you, Diane, for that. Brandon's in the comments as well. Is he being nice to us? Lee, it's crazy to say the Euros is harder than win the World Cup. I generally feel the Euros is harder. I know the format's changed, and it's if you get an extra teams, but I think it is harder. I think it's harder with the Euros, personally. Bang on, Carl. Southgate going 5 at the back showed a lack of confidence just to go and win it. But, the positives are, Carl, and that's hard because we've just lost the tournament on penalties, but the nation, and I said to you this the other day, the crap that we've been through with coronavirus and all of that, and, you've had the Queen right to the England squad. You've had the Prince do videos, come on England. I know it hasn't gone well tonight. And everybody, even girls who hate football, blokes who don't like football, kids will fall in love. 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds will fall in love with this sport that we love, although we're hurting tonight. There's a lot of positives to come that the nation's been lifted. Yes, and there's a few idiots about tonight that'll grab the headlines, but overall, it's a positive.
Yeah, like you get that, don't you? When if we go to tennis or something like that, Andrew Murray does well in tennis. There's always a big influx of younger kids taking up tennis, and that's what you want. Like you said, after all the crap that we've all been through, it's been a massive positive. It's been something that's kind of helped bring back a bit of normality. Like I said, for me, over the last 2 or 3 games, been able to really enjoy it with friends and just act like, we haven't gone through an 18-month bloody pandemic. Do you know what I mean? So it's been fantastic. And like I said, there's going to be so many young lads and young girls that will have been at their first final tonight. And regardless of what's happened, they're going to be able to say that they were there. Which is a lot to be said for people like ourselves who haven't had that opportunity, and it's been brilliant. It's brought everyone together. It's just like you say, it's a shame how it's ended, but if I'm really deep down, had I have carried on being as pessimistic as I was 2 weeks ago, I could say that I expected it, but tonight I really thought we'd win it.
Seattle Jody, thank you for the donation. You guys won my euros, so thank you very much for your comment there. Brandon's gone and said, surely Southgate has to be sacked, Harry. I disagree on that. He's got to a final. I mean, and he's put out Germany, and there's only Italy who beat us on a penalty shootout. Southgate is getting a contract, whether you like that or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 55 years since England have reached the final. You cannot sack the first man to break that sequence. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree. You kind of. I know. Go on, sorry, mate.
Sorry, regardless of the job that you think he's done, if he's done well, if he's harmonised the squad, but it's time to go, whatever. You cannot just move him on because we've lost a final. It's too harsh, that.
Yeah, I would agree. Southgate didn't win out. How could he not be sacked? Well, Brandon, he was just one kick. That was it. One kick. That was the difference tonight. I disagree on that. Southgate's just got to a final. I know we're all hurting. But Southgate's won a lot of admirers during this competition. Am I an admirer? No, but I probably respect him a lot more. Definitely respect.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like, I'm not an admirer, and but I've given a lot more. He's gained a lot of respect, 100%.
Yeah, right.
Exactly
what we're going to
the same, yeah.
Yeah, what we'll do now, we'll jump into the score on the players, which is probably this is going to be a hit and miss because it's a tough one with this loss. But
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in as well, because we've had quite a lot of years tune in with. I think we've seen over nearly 300 people watching live at once, just a couple of minutes back. But if you are watching, please smash that like. This is tough doing this type of video, but NFTV will do it. Doesn't matter if it's Newcastle or it's heartache with Newcastle. The takeover doesn't go through. We'll do the videos. We'll get on screen. We'll tell you how it really feels. Go on, Harry. You're going to have Pickford, who's probably going to score, if not the highest, or one of the highest.
You can redeem yourself for those Mackhams and Everton fans.
Considering it's a loss, but it's obviously going to be the highest. I want to go an 8. I'll go an 8. Yeah, because he did really well in the penalties. He kept us in the game. I think for the goal as well, I think he's made a really good save as well. He's just really unlucky that it's hit the post and rebounded. I think he played well, to be fair. Obviously, you're expecting a high mark, but he's saved 2 penalties out of 5, and he's made a few really good saves. You can't really complain in a final from a keeper. Obviously, he had a shocking semi-final, but he's bounced back really well. So it's good resilience as well.
Overall, he's had a tournament. I know you mentioned the semis, but overall, he's actually had a pretty good tournament. We were all going into the Euros thinking, we're centre backs, we're goalkeeper. That's going to be a downfall. And look how many goals were conceded all tournament, just 2. And Jordan Pickford has won the Golden Glove. He's kept the most clean sheets, so he will pick up that award. It's quite similar to what Freddie Woodman did when he was in the under 20 World Cup a few years ago. But yeah, Pickford scores high. Carl, you've got Kieran Trippier, who couldn't sit down when he got subbed off. He wouldn't. He was barking orders himself. Not so much like Ronaldo did 5 years ago. It's probably a lot more quieter. But he came in.
Pretty sure he made that substitution himself, didn't he? That's what it
he just walked off and said, "Right, do it." How do you think he got on tonight? He was brought in. He was the one change.
Yeah, I thought he did all right. He's a solid defender. He's solid. He's a very good defender, and he's very good at getting forward. I wouldn't have gone 5 at the back, but he did what he needed to. I don't remember off the top of my head that he put any sort of foot wrong, and I'll be completely honest, because it's been almost 2 hours of football. I don't remember.
Well, he handled Insigne quite well.
Yeah. So based on Harry giving Pickford an 8, because I agree, I think Pickford was man of the match tonight. I thought he was fantastic. I would give him a 7.
A 7. Harry, were you surprised to see him come in?
An
assistant change.
A slight bit, but not overall, because Southgate's done this with the so-called bigger sides. Throughout the tournament, he's played 4 at the back, but you see whenever it's so-called, reputable bigger nations, Germany, Italy, he's played 5 at the back. So I'm not overall surprised, because I kind of expected it. To be honest, I haven't really too much about it, but come to think about it, Italy 5 at the back, it's not surprising really. It's it really didn't surprise me, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. So I've got the Kyle Walker, who played right centre back. Pace, I think he's in the side for the right centre back rather than Connor Cody, who didn't even get a kick all tournament, and Tyrone Mings, who started the first couple of games, helped with the goal. Obviously, Trippier got the assist as well, if you remember, Carl, as well.
Of course he does. Yeah.
But Walker was also involved in the goal with the overlap. I think it was all right. 6.5. I don't think he's as high as Trippier, mind. But I think 6.5. Do you disagree on that? Any years?
No, I don't disagree, mate. No.
So Kyle Walker gets a 6.5 from us. Harry, I'll come back over to you. You've got John Stones.
I'd probably go the same, to be honest. He was decent. He was fine, but nothing stood out really. He was playing out from the back a bit, but he was nothing stood out at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Who's at fault for the goal, Harry?
Which
it's one of them leaves Bonucci, doesn't he? I thought it was Maguire, but Carl said it was Stones, or it's one of the.
I thought Mason Mount could have been to blame, because he was linked lefties man as well.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Carl there. Mason Mount, I think, is a bit switched off.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Carl, you've got Harry Maguire. I'll come back to you. What would you score him? He was England's aerial threat again, wasn't he? But nothing came of it tonight.
But I just, what I've liked about him is, and he's clearly a very good tournament player. Like, he's miles ahead of the player that he's been at Man United. He's been fantastic this tournament. He really has. And we spoke about it time and time again, the way he wants to drive the ball out. And I felt like he was handicapped with some of the players tonight, because there were times he was trying to drive the ball out, and we've got people sat so deep, like Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice at times, were sat behind him. And he's got no outlet whatsoever. Even when Saka come on, there was times where you want Saka standing on the sideline getting chalk on his boots, and he's looked like he was playing in centre midfield. So I always, like you say, he was always an aerial threat. He took his penalty really, really well. I didn't fear too much for Italy going through the middle, to be honest, because I just felt like him and John Stones were solid again. If you think about Immobile, it was shocking the night, and he got subbed off quite fairly early on. I'd give him a 7.5. I thought he was excellent tonight, to be honest. Like in context of what's gone on.
Yeah, it's tough to score these. But Harry Maguire, as Carl said, just concerned about his fitness injuries, when he came to the tournament. We didn't want Tyrone Mings playing the whole tournament, because I don't think England would have kept as many clean sheets. But Maguire was, tried to be the outlet for set pieces, but didn't really get on the end of much tonight. But 7 out of 10 for Harry Maguire. A good old friend in the live chat, I call, will recognise. Where have I just seen him? A broadcast. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah,
Been a while.
He's a regular on the watch-alongs of comments as well. And, of course, they will be back when the season kicks off. Got to think as well, Newcastle would, this time, in 7 days' time, Newcastle would have played 2 pre-season games already. It's crazy, isn't it? And we're reviewing an England game here.
Yeah.
Mental. Fortunately, I've got Luke Shaw. That's fault of me. I'm going to score him an 8. And he scored the goal. Fantastic how he kept it down, the technique. I know it's fairly close in, 7 to 8 yards out, but great technique because didn't expect that to go in the back of the net. I think he clipped the post as well and went in.
Yeah.
Good finish. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. He's been one of the highlights for England this tournament. We talked about it. The main call, we talked about that last time out. We were talking about England in the semis. For me, he's England's number 1. Before the tournament, I would have said it was Chilwell. But maybe it was a blessing in disguise, and you should never wish this on anyone. Of course not. But with Chilwell having to self-isolate, that was obviously England's benefit for me. I think Shaw, Mourinho called him, what was it, useless, overweight. Look at him now. Luke Shaw. Yeah, he's probably in the top 5 players for England this tournament. Declan Rice, Harry, you've got him. He played just under the hour, what was it, about 80 minutes when Henderson came on? Or was it maybe less than that? But he's always subbed off for Henderson in this tournament. How do you think he got on today?
I would probably give him a 7. I think he played really well, to be honest. I think he was trying to progress with the ball. He was constantly trying to push forward, trying to take the ball forward. He was really clever, moving out of kind of isolated situations where he's pressed a lot back into corners, and he got himself out really well. And I was personally surprised to see him subbed off so early. I thought he played really well, to be honest.
Carl, I'll come to you with his partner in crime, Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I think people might disagree, but I thought this was his worst game of the tournament. I agree with Harry. I thought Declan Rice had a really good game, and I was surprised that they took him off. I'd have took Calvin Phillips. I felt like Jorginho giving the runaround tonight, to be honest. I was surprised. He's had a couple of pop shots, but he just, I don't know. I wasn't impressed with how he performed at all. They didn't seem in sync like they have done. And whether that was because we were sat 5 at the back and there wasn't much else in terms of outlets in the midfield, because Mason Mount was playing out wide as well, so we didn't have anyone for them to give the ball to in front of them. For example, there wasn't anyone playing in that 10 role. So I just feel like they kind of come unstuck, and I thought Declan Rice played well. I thought Phillips didn't have a great game, so I'd give him a 6.
A 6 for Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough when you've got the 3 Italians in midfield. So Calvin Phillips. So again, the same question again. I'll come to you, Harry, with Calvin Phillips to start the tournament. He wouldn't have been the favourites. It probably would have been Henderson and Rice.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously Henderson was injured, so Phillips got that chance. And I suppose from the first game onwards, he picked himself into the team sheet. It's obviously a difficult decision to make once he's been cemented into that. After that Croatia game, it's hard to drop him, but yeah, it's a difficult one. I personally, I can't say I would have dropped him either, to be fair to Southgate. As much as I might dislike him or whatever, you cannot just say you drop him because you disagree with him. Yeah. He's had good games, he's had bad games. But Henderson, you can't prove he's up to much fitness either. It's a really difficult one with that midfield, because you could put anyone in there, but you've got Phillips, you've got Henderson, you've got Bellingham. You could even drop Mount in there, but there's no kind of proven option that's going to guarantee you something, because even Henderson, who's the proven option, isn't much fit. So it's a really difficult one, I think, with that midfield.
He is, and he's aging as well. Henderson's 31, 32 coming up. I've got Raheem Sterling, who I thought was pretty poor tonight for what his tournament standards were. There was talk of him being player of the tournament for England, obviously with a lot of the single goals, which has helped England get through. But I thought he was shocking tonight. Too many times he was going down. I just recall him when he was played through on the left-hand side, took an extra touch, and Chiellini came over and cleared it out, and Chiellini celebrated the clearance. I thought he was very, very poor. I'm going to score him really low as a 4 tonight. Let us know if you agree on the comments. I just think I wanted to see him moved over to the right because I just felt Saka just wasn't at the races. I know one of us will get Saka soon, but I just want to see Sterling run at Emerson because that's the weak link. And we target Emerson in the first 15, 20 minutes and we get a bit of joy. And then we just didn't go down that side hardly ever. So when Sterling moved to there, I thought, right, this is better. Let's run at him. But no, very disappointed with Raheem Sterling. But overall in the tournament, I think he has had a good tournament. But tonight, he didn't stand up for me. We'll come back to you. Harry, you've got Mason Mount.
I don't know what he did, to be honest. I didn't see a lot from him.
Southgate loves him, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does. He could have easily started Rashford on the left or Sancho on the right and put Sterling on the left, but he stuck with Mount. Of course he did. Probably give him a 5. I didn't see a lot from him. I cannot see what he did, to be honest. I just don't remember anything memorable from him. There's not a lot of moments which stick out to me, which, Mount created this, Mount had a good effort there. Just nothing for me, I'm afraid.
Overall, Mason Mount, what do you reckon of his tournament, Carl? But actually, before you answer, I just want to actually reply to this. Bocky, we're definitely not silent because we've got hooliganism with England fans happening tonight. So England fans are definitely not silent. It's the other end. It's way too aggressive.
Yeah.
That's the problem with England. Sorry, Carl, go on, yeah.
Mason Mount's tournament, non-plus, mate. I've not really seen him do anything I've been impressed with this tournament to warrant starting. I'm not a professional football coach, so there might be things that I'm not seeing that he's doing off the ball. He might be, allowing people to make certain runs, etc. But I personally don't see. I don't feel like he brings anyone into play. And the fact that they put him out on the right today to try and mirror what the likes of Pedro were able to do against Italy, he's not that player. He hasn't been this tournament, rather. I know he's been brilliant in the Premier League, but I think he's had. There's better options. You got Grealish can play that role. Jude Bellingham can play that role. Jadon Sancho can play that role. All those 3 players alone are more dynamic. Saka, when he started, has been more dynamic in that role. He's not done enough for me at all. I wouldn't have started him tonight.
I probably wouldn't have. Harry, did you give him a 5?
Yeah.
I was listening. So Mason Mount has a 5. Carl, it's back to you. You've got Harry Kane, who was he in the game? I know he came deep in the first half, but where was he?
I don't understand. I said it earlier. I don't understand what's happened. It was like he'd gone from not playing with confidence or looking unfit in the first 2 or 3 games to then getting that goal and looking like the striker that we all know and love in terms of what he can do in the Premier League. Looking at, we don't want him to break Alan Shearer's record, but you look at him and think he's got that about him. Tonight, in the biggest game of your life, and he was absolutely shocking. Like, he didn't look. His movement was terrible. He was dropping. He was so deep. I thought he was playing in as a 3 with Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice at times. It was ridiculous. We had no outlet. So then, at one point, Jordan Henderson looked like he was playing centre forward because Harry Kane was that deep. He didn't do anything tonight. He was a passenger. So I'll give him a 4.
Yeah, a 4 for Harry Kane, who could have been in a shout for get the golden boots. You would have seen Johnny commented saying he's heartbroken. Never seen Johnny heartbroken in 3.5 years on NFTV. But it's not great, is it? Yes. What was that? Sorry, Carl. What did you score him?
A 4, mate.
A 4 for Harry Kane. Yeah, I mean, you're up against a 36-year-old and a 37-year-old, and it was easy for them. Absolutely easy. And They're both talking, Bonucci and Chiellini, before the game, that Harry Kane's one of the best strikers in the world, and they quite clearly looked after him fairly easy tonight. Really, really easy.
Definitely.
I've got Saka. That's falling on me. Right, his performance first. Very poor when he came on.
Yeah.
Very poor. On the right-hand side, he kept cutting in. He kept coming back. So that's why I wanted him over on the left and Sterling on the right-hand side to go just directly. Go left foot on the left, right foot on the right. I just thought he wasn't an outlet. I thought that right side was really poor. He missed his penalty. It's hard on the lad. Anybody can miss penalties. He's upset. He's crying. He'll go on to play for England loads of tournaments. But his performance tonight, sorry, but I'm giving him a 2. I thought it was shocking tonight. Absolutely shocking. I'm not being harsh.
No. I think it was. I think he'd literally been on the pitch like 8 or 9 minutes, and he'd given the ball away 4 times. It decided not to run onto 2 passes. He's nearly put Calvin Phillips in hospital with that one fucking shit pass. And I just looked. I was like, he needs to bring him off. Like I don't know whether the occasion's too big for him, but he's just not in it. And don't get me wrong, I don't care that he's missed the penalty. Like he shouldn't have been taking it in the first place. Not just because he's had a bad game, but we've got much more senior players. That shouldn't have had to fall to him. I echo everything you say. He just had a very bad game. You feel for the lad, but he wasn't good enough. He had the ball to hook Jack Grealish last week. He should have done the same with Saka.
With Saka, I'm not scoring him by the penalty, by the way, because I know it was an awful penalty. I'm not scoring him the penalty. I think it's just there was just nothing there. Nothing when England needed it. We needed the outlet because they were literally pinned on us. Harry, you've got the other Mackham, Jordan Henderson, who got roughly, about 40 minutes, including extra time?
To be honest, and I think I've seen a lot of kind of negative comments towards him. I thought he was pretty good. He was pretty intense. He was leading the press. He was pushing up forwards, helping support kind of the forward press, putting the pressure on Italy. I would score him a 6. I mean, it's not exactly positive, but it's not negative. It's difficult because he didn't noticeably do a lot. He didn't exactly break up the play, but he was trying to get forward. He was trying to put pressure on the Italian defence, trying to make them lose the ball a bit. I don't know, really. It's a difficult one, especially when he subbed off right before penalties.
There's a couple of misplaced passes that I think I was furious with, and tried to do an outside the boot one in extra time, and I think Sam was like, get him off in our WhatsApp as well. I just want to point out, we don't condone this in NFTV. There's a little bit of racism going on in the live chat. I just want to point that out. We don't condone anybody of skin colour who's an England player who misses penalties. It happens. Get over it. You piece of shit. That's not on. I'm sorry, but that's not on.
If that's what you've got to resort to, then you're a fucking nobody. You're an absolute nobody. It's ridiculous. He's an 18, 19-year-old kid playing for an England team. He really doesn't care about the derogatory comments people like you've got to say.
Yeah, I've just seen that. And I've just literally blocked. That's disgraceful. It's not welcome here by calling people other names. But Jordan Henderson gets a 6 from Harry, who I thought was very generous. Well, I will say Harry. But it's your score. You can take the stick. And you've got your fellow local boy, Carl Jack Grealish, who should have been on a lot earlier.
Yeah, he should. I think it's been the tale of the tournament for him. I don't just feel like he's not been given enough time. Obviously, where he's come on and got the assist. But yeah, he's just not. It's like he's handcuffed already. He didn't have enough. The game wasn't going the way we wanted it to. It's kind of like, right, we need to bring Jack Grealish on to try and drag us to win the tournament, which just isn't fair. Again, he's not old, but he's still only 25, I think. And when he's not had, he's not played a full game, you can't expect the lad to just come on and tear up trees. That's not how it's going to work. He was definitely trying to make things happen. But again, he had a few misplaced passes as well. And I do feel for him, but I agree. He should have been brought on a lot earlier to try and grow into the game. And having people like that on, in retrospect, it's easy to say because Saka had a bad game. But if Grealish was on the pitch, it could have been a little bit different. I'll give him with the amount of time he was on. I'll probably give him a 6 as well because I do feel like he had a little bit of flair going forward.
Yeah, should have been on a lot more earlier and probably played a lot more in games. But like I say, we got our final. The couple of comments in the live chat just about fans in general. Yeah, there's a lot of violence, stupidity, drunkenness. That's what we mean. Ryan Sweeney, I can see in the comments, that's basically what it is earlier on before kickoff. I don't know what's gone on afterwards, so I can't really speculate on that. I would expect there's a few idiots about. But Rashford, was he on? I know he missed his penalty. I'm not going to score him. I know he's missed his penalties. He needs his target. He should have done a lot better, but he was on the pitch. What was it? 3 minutes? 4 minutes?
Yeah.
So just going to give him a non-applicable for Marcus Rashford. I'm sure, Harry, you will agree with Jadon Sancho, non-applicable?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Both of them get non-applicable. They're only on literally 4 minutes. Southgate, it's a tough one, this one, because it would have scored him a lot higher if one of the penalties went in. So it's a toss of a coin in at one kick. But overall, but forget about penalties for a second. I thought he deserved to win it overall in the case of 120 minutes. And they were bright for about 10 minutes extra time and bright in periods in the first section of the first half. But overall, I generally feel Italy deserved to win it, although it's cruel how they won it. Substitutions I didn't like. Really didn't like. I thought it were too late. Go more attack and be brave. You're in the final of a tournament. Risk it, man. Risk it. You've seen it with England's penalties. He knows himself. He's missed one in Euro 96. I'm going to score him straight down the middle with a 5. I think there could have been a lot more that he could have impacted on today's game. Overall in the tournament, I'll probably score him high, a 9. I'll probably score him a 9 overall in the tournament. But today, there's a lot more stuff that he could have influenced. So I'm scoring him a 5. Harry?
On today, yeah, to 5.
I think Harry's.
It's just bog standard. Really, it's just deflating, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah.
People are going to say I'm being harsh, but I'm going to go with a 3. I thought everything he did tonight was wrong for me. Everything. Every substitution was wrong. It's easy to say that after the game's ended, but at the end of the day, it was. Yeah, I know Harry. I appreciate what Harry says. He feels Henderson had a half decent game, which is fine. I didn't personally. Saka was shocking. Grealish wasn't given enough time, and then you brought on 2 young lads. I know Rashford's not really young, but he's still a young enough lad. Yes, he's experienced, but you brought them on with 2-3 minutes to then basically say, go and win the tournament on penalties. Like it's the most laughable thing in a final I've ever seen from England. It was shambolic from him. It really was. I don't think I'm actually being that harsh because I agree. Like, he's been fantastic throughout the tournament, and it's hard to question the decisions he makes. But when it turns out like this, I'm just like, everything you did was wrong tonight. Yeah,
so I think we'll meet you in the middle. We'll go 4 out of 10 because we're scoring 5, so we'll meet you halfway. But that is it. That is a wrap up. Perfect timing because I'm starting to lag a bit now because I've got all sorts on in the background. But it's the last video of the Euros coverage. I hope you have enjoyed it as best that you can. Tonight is disappointing. We've fronted it. We've came on, expressed how we really feel. We are disappointed, but we're going to switch the focus, of course, to the thing that we really love, which is Newcastle United. And we've got 2 games on Sunday, so I'm sure there'll be some footage or some last words or whatever from then. Don't forget, we've got a couple of Greenwood and Moliners over on NFTV Extra as well. That is it. I think we'll just wrap it up because we don't need to say any more. Good night, everyone. What's what they're doing? Ta-da.